Wrexham Association Football Club is a Welsh professional association football club based in Wrexham, Wales. The team competes in the National League, the fifth tier of the English Football League system. Formed in 1864, they are the oldest club in Wales and the third oldest professional association football team in the world. The club initially participated in friendlies and cup competitions, and first entered a league by joining the combination in 1890. They spent 13 seasons in the combination and 2 seasons in the Welsh Senior League, winning 4 combination titles and 2 Welsh Senior League titles. They entered the Birmingham and District League in 1905, where they would remain until becoming inaugural members of the Football League's Third Division North in 1921. They spent 47 years in the northern section until they were placed in the reorganised Third Division in 1958 and then relegated 2 years later. Wrexham were promoted out of the Fourth Division in 1961-62, only to be relegated again 2 years later. Another promotion followed in 1969-70 and they reached the second tier for the first time after winning the Third Division title in 1977-78. 2 successive relegations saw them back in the fourth tier by 1983 and they took until 1992-93 before seeing another promotion. Relegated once more in 2002, they gained immediate promotion in 2002-03, before worsening financial problems resulted in another relegation and then administration in December 2004. It took 18 months for the club to exit administration and the club's decline on the pitch continued, as they dropped out of the Football League in 2008. Wrexham have been out of the Football League ever since, and have had 5 unsuccessful playoff campaigns in the 5th tier. Wrexham's honours include winning the Welsh Cup a record 23 times, the Football League Trophy in 2005 at the Millennium Stadium and the FA Trophy in 2013 at Wembley Stadium. The club are also record winners of the short-lived FA Premier Cup, winning it 5 times out of the 11 years of its tenure, participating against fellow Welsh clubs such as Cardiff City, Swansea City, and Newport County. However, their biggest rivalries are with English clubs, Chester and Shrewsbury Town, with games between the clubs known as the Cross-Border Derby. In 1992, Wrexham upset the reigning English champions Arsenal in the FA Cup. They also scored a 1-0 victory over FC Porto in 1984 in the European Cup Winners' Cup. Wrexham were eligible for the European Cup Winners' Cup due to winning the Welsh Cup. Their first European tie was against FC Zurich of Switzerland in 1972 and their last was played in Romania against Petrolul Ploiești in 1995. Wrexham's home stadium, the Racecourse Ground, is the world's oldest international stadium that still continues to host international games. The record attendance at the ground was set in 1957, when the club hosted a match against Manchester United in front of 34,445 spectators. Early life. Robert McElhenney III was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on April 14, 1977. Both of McElhenney's parents were of Irish descent. He was raised Catholic. Through his father, he is a cousin of Olympic rower Marcus McElhenney. When he was 8 years old, his parents divorced after his mother came out as a lesbian. He and his 2 younger brothers were primarily raised by their father, though their parents remained close after the divorce. His 2 brothers are gay, and he describes himself as having always been part of the gay community. Through his father's subsequent marriage, he also has a half-sister and stepsister. He attended St. Joseph's Preparatory School in Philadelphia. He later briefly attended Temple University and then temporarily lived on the Fordham University campus with friends, but chose not to enroll. Career. McElhenney had his first major acting role with a small part in the 1997 film The Devil's Own, though his role was cut out of the final edit. He followed this with small parts in the films A Civil Action, Wonder Boys, and 13 Conversations About One Thing. He later had more substantial parts in the films Latter Days and The Toll Booth, and a guest role in the Law and Order episode Thrill. When he was 21, a screenplay written by McElhenney was optioned with Paul Schrader attached to direct, but the project fell through after a year of edits and rewrites. Initially based in New York City after graduation, McElhenney moved to Los Angeles at the age of 25. When he was 27 years old, he was waiting tables between acting jobs and had met Glenn Howerton through his agent, as well as meeting Charlie Day while shooting a horror film in New York City. His idea for a sitcom starring himself, Howerton, and Day came from a suggestion originally made by one of his closest childhood friends. The pilot was filmed on a budget of $200 and pitched to various cable networks. After receiving offers from many of the networks, McElhenney chose to sign with FX as they allowed him more creative freedom, and the show was eventually titled It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. McElhenney was contracted as its showrunner, while both Howerton and Day were listed as executive producers. McElhenney has said that 50 weeks per year are taken up by acting, producing, and writing for It's Always Sunny, though he did find time to appear in the Lost episode Not in Portland. This was a result of him meeting Lost CO creator Damon Lindelof, who is a fan of It's Always Sunny. He later reprised his Lost role in another episode. He is a fan of Game of Thrones and said that he was thrilled when the series creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss asked him if they could write an episode of It's Always Sunny. He and his CO producers accepted the offer, resulting in the episode Flowers for Charlie in 2013. In 2019, he had a cameo appearance as an extra in the Game of Thrones episode Winterfell. In July 2015, McElhenney was confirmed by Mohang as the director of the upcoming animated Minecraft movie, but he later left the project. In 2017, McElhenney appeared in a guest role as a police officer in the acclaimed Fargo episode The Law of Non-Contradiction. He received praise for his performance from critics, who saw many of his character's traits and plot points as references to It's Always Sunny. In 2020, McElhenney CO created the Apple TV and comedy series Mythic Quest alongside Charlie Day and Megan Gans. He also stars as Ian Grimm on the show and serves as a writer and executive producer. The series has received critical acclaim, with the review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes giving the series an 89% approval rating. On June 7, 2022, McElhenney announced the launch of a new entertainment tech company named Atom, CO founded by himself, Chase Rosenblatt, Melissa Kaspers, Spencer Morrell, and Richard Rosenblatt. Business interests. On September 23, 2020, it was announced by the Wrexham Supporters Trust that a business partnership had been formed by McElhenney and Canadian actor Ryan Reynolds and that they were in talks to purchase the Welsh football team Wrexham AFC. On November 16, it was confirmed that the two had successfully taken over the club after receiving the backing of the Wrexham Supporters Trust. Influences. McElhenney has named the Marx Brothers, Woody Allen, Carl Reiner, Norman Lear, George Carlin, Gary David Goldberg, Larry David, and David Sedaris as his comedic influences. Personal life. McElhenney hired actress Caitlin Olsen to play Dee Reynolds on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and became romantically interested in her around season 2 of the series. He has called her the funniest woman in show business. They were married in California on September 27, 2008. They have 2 sons named Axel Lee McElhenney and Leo Gray McElhenney. Olsen went into labor with their first son while at a Philadelphia Phillies game. In 2009, McElhenney and Olsen announced their purchase of Skinner's Bar at 226 Market Street in Philadelphia, which they renamed Mac's Tavern. Body. In preparation for the 7th season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, McElhenney put on 60 pounds of fat and let his beard grow out to give extra humor to his character and add a new comedic direction for the season. His co-star Charlie Day described the weight gain as disgusting and said that the rest of the cast were a little on the fence about it for his own personal health and safety. McElhenney subsequently lost 23 pounds in a month after the season was finished filming, and lost the rest of the weight later in the year in time to film the next season. In preparation for the show's 13th season, he transformed his body again, though this time he became excessively fit and athletic. He later joked in an Instagram post that it was a super realistic lifestyle and an appropriate body image to compare oneself to. Filmography. Film.